Ladies and gentlemen, no fancy introduction today, no Chippy the Chipmunk, no cheers, just a sobering message episode about the terrorist attacks in Israel. Please stay tuned. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or at least it's still morning here where I'm at the time of this recording. It's 11:34 a.m., Thursday, October 12th, 2023. So I have about 26 minutes to say good morning. How do I start this episode? How do I start other than to say, here we go again. Here we go again. Yesterday, as I was doing my research and flipping through some articles and reading up on what's going on in Israel and in our world on account of Israel, or what's happening in Israel, I should say, that I came across this article. Actually, I take it back. It was a video in an article, but it was a video of a gentleman by the name of Tim Hernandez. He is a Colorado State Representative, Tim Hernandez, Democrat, by the way. And the headline of this little video was that this representative refused to, condemn the Hamas terrorists for killing babies and such. And I honestly couldn't believe it, because even a politician would know that, at least in politics, you have to put on your best face, even if you don't believe it. So I watched the little video, and it's a very short little clip where somebody was trying to do an interview style conversation with Representative Tim Hernandez of Colorado, Democrat. And sure enough, there it was. Now, I wish I had the ability to put audio and video. I guess I could put audio up, but anyways, audio and video up more readily, more easily on these episodes. So I'll try to figure that out, at least the audio part. But I do have a transcript of that conversation here, and it's on X, so a tweet. Do they still call it tweet since it's no longer Twitter? But anyways, it's now X, and it's a tweet on X on the Daily Caller. I guess they posted this, and it says Colorado State Representative Tim Hernandez refuses to condemn protesters in support of Hamas. The reporter asks, "You can't condemn women and children and elderly people being mowed in the streets?" Hernandez responds, "What about it?" The reporter asks, "Do you condemn it?" Hernandez said, "I already said." Reporter, "Why can't you say yes?" Hernandez, "Already gave you my answer." Reporter, "You didn't give an answer, and I think anybody who watches would understand your position." Then Hernandez goes on to say, "The three people who are going to watch your BS," he didn't say BS, he used the whole word, BS video, and that's pretty much where it stops. And I can concur. I watched the video. That's the way this conversation went. He's a very pompous, arrogant, ignorant young man, this Tim Hernandez, representative in Colorado, Democrat. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring this up because even on my own Facebook, and you can go look at some of these, it's under Rob Enos, and you'll know me because I have an Israeli flag as my picture. I posted this a few days ago, 2 days ago, as a matter of fact. And all of these are based in truth, based upon what I've been reading in the news. All right. And unless our news is really corrupt and not telling us the truth, then all of these are true. I'm being facetious, sarcastic, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, the dictator of China won't speak to his allies in Iran on behalf of Israel. That we know is true. Muslim communities all over the world are celebrating the death of innocent Jews. Again, we know that is true. Joe Biden funded the murder of Israeli allies, and that again we know is true. The Biden administration told Israel to stand down while their citizens were being murdered in their homes. That again we know is true. We know these things are true. There are homosexual groups supporting Palestinians as they are murdering Jews, and again that is true. I'm not laughing because I think any of these things are funny. There's actually people arguing with me saying none of this is true. Let me continue. Where is this? There are Jews in America who still support Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. even though they are directly responsible to some degree for Jewish people being murdered in Israel. Again, we know this is to be true. This war is exposing the stupidity, arrogance, and wickedness of many. I stand with Israel. So I posted that 2 days ago. And I have 23 people that gave me, let me go back. 12 people that gave me the thumbs up sign, 4 people that gave me the heart, like love it, and 8 people that put laughing faces. So people are being absolutely destroyed and murdered. Babies are literally having their heads cut off. Women are being paraded down the streets naked and then murdered in the streets. Hostages are being taken and paraded. Dead bodies are being desecrated. And I get 8 people that want to put little smiley faces, like they're laughing at this like a joke. I'm going to tell you the names of these people because they put them on here. And this is on my Facebook page, Rob Enos. You can go find this. Elena Rochelle laughed at this. Paul Bailey laughed at this. Margaret Berg Keller laughed at this. Amy Green, and she's been bouncing around some of my posts, laughing and just causing problems. But she laughed at this. Dominic Ibelli laughed at this. Not only that, but if you go into the comment section, there's a gentleman by the name of Mark Ozelber. I finally had to just block this guy because he was just, they say troll. He was a troll on steroids, but just very evil, wicked. His posts, his ideology, and very argumentative. And I'm argumentative, and people can argue with me, and I don't block them. But this guy was just being evil and wicked and disgusting. But he puts, except none of this is true, and then 3 laughing faces. Why are Christians literally the worst? Well, it is true. Anyways, then he writes, anything that suits your racist narrative, 3 more laughing faces, and women. Let's talk about the Bible's treatment of women. I know this book better than you and can go all night. What did any of that have to do with what the Bible has to say about women? Then he writes, that was effing easy. Then another, Robin Melendez, she writes, this is totally untrue. Speaking about my post about all of those things that have gone on or are going on. Now, why am I sharing this with you? I don't normally come on here and read names like that. I don't think I've ever done that for a post that I have put. But ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand who we're dealing with and why we're dealing with them. As I am looking at some of these posts and these laughing faces in disbelief, when somebody's trying to put up there, listen, people are being murdered and this person's not doing anything about it and that person's not doing anything about it, and trying to rally the troops, so to speak, trying to wake us up so that we can start doing something about this. And I get people laughing at this in the face of some of the worst, most heinous crimes that we have ever seen in our lifetime. Women being raped in the streets and then murdered, brutally murdered. Paraded down the street naked, then murdered. Entire families murdered in their homes, burned alive. And when the Hamas terrorists, the Palestinians, when they light a home on fire that they know there's a family in there, if that family is not burned alive inside and they come running out, well, then they just shoot them dead at the doorway. Little babies being murdered, many of them having their heads cut off by these Palestinians. I find it disgusting, disgraceful, wicked, evil, vile for people to be laughing at posts that are educating us on what's happening, why it's happening, and we need to do something about it. This is amazing to me, but it shouldn't really shock anybody. It's shocking, but it really shouldn't shock any one of us, because as I just read to you, we have state representatives that represent states in the United States, states in our union, people that are representatives of the people, such as this Tim Hernandez, Democrat in Colorado, who can't even bring himself to condemn women, children, and elderly being mowed down in the streets by these Palestinian terrorists. He can't even stand up and say it's wrong and I disagree with it. As a matter of fact, let me read something to you just to give you an idea of the character of this. I don't really talk that way, ladies and gentlemen, but what's going through my mind is some pretty serious words that I don't use to describe what a lowlife this gentleman really is. And I mean that with everything in me. It says, here's an article from, this is from Daily Caller as well. Dem lawmaker says, what about it when being confronted on innocent women being raped by Hamas? This was published or written by Brianna Lyman and published October 10th, 2023. So 2 days, what is today? Today is the 12th. Yeah, 2 days ago. I won't read the whole thing because it just basically reiterates what I just read to you from the Daily Caller X tweet. But just to give you an idea of what was going on. It says Democrat, Colorado State Representative Tim Hernandez said, what about it when he was confronted on innocent women being raped by Hamas while he attended a pro-Palestine rally? Video footage posted to Twitter shows. The Colorado Palestinian Coalition hosted a Palestinian solidarity rally over the weekend, according to the Denver Gazette. I think it's despicable what they're protesting for, the individual behind the camera could be heard saying of the protesters. And the fact that you can't condemn women and children and elderly being murdered in the streets. What about it? Hernandez says. Do you condemn it? The man asked. Hernandez shook his head no before saying, I already said, Why can't you say yes? The reporter says. Because I already gave you my answer, Hernandez responded. And by the way, he never said yes or no in the video. The man behind the camera argued Hernandez never gave an answer and that the people would watch his video would know. Hernandez mocked the man, saying, all three people that are going to watch your BS video. Only he didn't say BS, and I don't use that kind of language. So that was the whole thing. I guess I gave it to you twice. But let me go on with this article because it goes on beyond just that portion of it. Goes on to say Republican State Representative Lisa Frizzell condemned Hernandez comments, saying he voiced his approval of the slaughter of innocent people. By not condemning it and by just standing there with a stupid look on your face and then mocking the man's video, that was akin to, I don't really care what's going on over there. I'm standing with these Palestinian murderers. I find that to be contrary to anything that I hold dear, she said, according to the Denver Gazette. Hernandez later spoke out about the terrorist attacks against Israel on Monday. And this is what he says. Instead of just saying this or saying something to this reporter at this rally, he waits. He gets backlash. And now he's going to respond. This is what weak, cowardly people do. He says, I'm against oppression. I'm against human suffering. I'm against attacking innocent people. Bullcrap. You are a liar, sir. You were at a rally supporting the Palestinians who are going in and murdering women and children, cutting off babies' heads, raping women in the street. And then you're going to stand there and try to say, I'm against this kind of behavior. No, you're a liar, sir. I'm heartbroken for any loss of life at all. No, you're not. Hernandez said in a statement posted to Twitter, I listened at a rally on Saturday in solidarity with the Colorado Palestinian community, not Hamas. Sir, maybe you didn't know this, but Hamas are Palestinians. They're tied to Palestine. They came out of Palestine, out of the Gaza Strip. They're Palestinians. Now, there might be other people from other countries and other places, but they all merge there. They're all from there. And you're a state representative? You should know these things. I listened at a rally on Saturday in solidarity with the Colorado Palestinian community, not Hamas, because Palestinian people shared in the tragic loss of life this weekend. I did not speak or attend the rally in support of Hamas or in support of the attacks on Israel that took place over the weekend. Well, sir, listen, little Timmy, young man, since you think like a 6-year-old, I figure, I guess I need to talk to you like a 6-year-old, Timmy. If you disagree with what Hamas is doing in Israel, why didn't you go to a pro-Israel rally? Timmy, why would you go to a rally that supports the place where these murderers come from instead of going to a rally supporting the people being murdered? Timmy, young man, little boy, it's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to allow those 3 brain cells to maybe grow into 4 and act like you have some kind of shred of decency and common sense. I don't know. Maybe this guy thinks he can get away with saying these things and doing these things because Come on. Who's going to bother listening to this BS representative of Colorado? Other articles on this gentleman and dealing with this, he has mostly Republican, of course, but some Democrats coming out against him, reprimanding him, and distancing themselves from them. But I'll be honest with you, it appears that Colorado is more Democrat than it is Republican. So the question that I have for all of them, Democrat, Republican, that work alongside this state representative, Democrat Tim Hernandez, is why is he still in office? An emergency meeting should have been called already and a vote immediately taken to remove him from his position. And every Republican, every Democrat, every independent, and whoever else matters in that vote should say, when they ask, should we remove Representative Tim Hernandez, Democrat? Should we remove him? Send him packing. Everyone in that room, every other representative should say, aye, meaning yes. Who's opposed? Should be crickets. Why is that man still in office? Why is that man still holding a position? Why is that man not sent packing? Why isn't he not spending this day clearing out his office? Because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the Democrats are all about. They can come back later and say, well, we condemn all of this. So much so that you didn't even remove this guy who's out partying at a pro-Palestinian rally as Jewish babies are having their heads cut off by Palestinians. You are so against it that you can't even remove this trash from your representative roles. Ladies and gentlemen, again, that's the Democrats for you. That is the Democrat Party. No matter where Democrats are, perversion has a safe haven. Wickedness has a place to reside. And it's celebrated, as this guy was celebrating. By celebrating with the Palestinians, he was celebrating the rape of innocent women, the murder of civilians, the elderly, women, children. He was even celebrating babies having their heads cut off in a place that should be one of the most safe places for them, their own nurseries, their own cribs. Oh, but Rob, you don't understand. That's just one unique individual. That's his own personal stuff. No, that's just one guy. You can't smear the entire party because of one guy. Well, you're right. I wouldn't normally do that if I saw that the rest of the Democrats, again, got together and voted this guy out, kicked him to the curb, and replaced him. That didn't happen. Hasn't happened yet. At least that I know of. Now, there might be some secret meeting going on today or late tonight that does just that, to which I would applaud them. But it hasn't happened yet. As a matter of fact, he's not the only one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me rewind that. He's not the only Democrat that holds those views. Here's another article from Daily Wire. And this was published yesterday. And there was actually a article just prior to this, and this is a follow-up article. But I think reading this article, you'll get the gist of what the first article said. The title of this article is Tlaib lashes out after refusing to condemn beheading of Israel babies. My critics are bigoted. So she is calling the people who criticized her refusal to condemn the beheadings of Israeli babies. We're the bigots because we criticized her when she refused to say anything about it. Condemn it, I should say. Again, this is from the Daily Wire, and it was published yesterday, October 11th, 2023. And I don't see that there's a name. I like to give credit to the person who writes these things, but there is no name, so I apologize for that. It's just on the Daily Wire, October 11, 2023. It says Representative Rashida Tlaib and Democrat of Michigan. Why is it always Democrats? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have huge problems with the Republican Party, especially at present with the whole vote to remove Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House and all that. And it's not that I really cared for him, but what a horrible time and a horrible way they did it. And it sours my stomach. But that is nowhere, if on a scale of say 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute most wicked and worst thing that they could do, 1 being a hiccup, somebody sneezed too loud or coughed too loud during one of the sessions. The removing of Kevin McCarthy in the way that it happened and when it happened goes up, in my opinion, maybe a 3 or a 4. Big enough that we should take it seriously, big enough that we should be frustrated, big enough we should be angry, but not so big enough that it's a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal on the grand scheme of things. So the Republicans, boo, that have done that. Okay, the Democrat Party, especially with the handling of Israel and the Palestinians, not just in this conflict, this war right now, but over the years, their level of wickedness goes 10 plus. 10 being the ceiling, and it's 10 plus. Their handling of anything that deals with morality or ethics, 10 plus. So there's no comparison. I'm very upset at the Republicans because they do some stupid things every now and then. And every now and then they do a wicked thing. But you might see these memes or that joke, where somebody does something. Hey, did you see what I just did? Really? Hold my beer. And then they go do it 10 times more. The Democrat Party, when it comes to evil and wickedness, hold my beer. You ain't seen nothing yet. And even though I'm saying a little joke about it, the premise, the idea, the concept is still true. The Democrat Party takes wickedness to a whole new level. They blow past the ceiling of wickedness. Let me read this. So it says Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat, Michigan, who has an extensive history of anti-Semitism, lashed out Wednesday after video of her went viral on Tuesday night, where she repeatedly refused to condemn the brutal acts of terrorism committed by Palestinian terrorists against the Jewish state of Israel. More than 1,200 Israelis were murdered in the attacks on Saturday, with thousands more injured. At least 22 Americans were killed and 17 more are still unaccounted for. I do not support the targeting and killing of civilians, whether in Israel or Palestine, Tlaib claimed on Wednesday. The fact that some have suggested otherwise is offensive and rooted in bigoted assumptions about my faith and ethnicity. Well, Miss Tlaib, Rashida, a Democrat from Michigan, not only is your wickedness already shown through, but now your ignorance and your stupidity does. These are not bigoted people. They are just taking you at your word, or let me put it this way, they were taking at you at your lack of condemning the murder and the rape of innocent civilians and children having their heads cut off. Tlaib was pressed hard about her views after her initial response to the Palestinian terrorist attacks was to blame Israel. So let me get this straight. The Palestinians fire thousands of rockets into Israel, hitting homes, killing people, doing a lot of damage, causing a lot of confusion. At the same time, they're crashing through the border fence, the border wall, and riding through, going into these kibbutzes near them, near the border, and murdering innocent civilians, whole families, chopping off babies' heads, dragging women out into the streets, raping them in the streets, and then killing them. They fly in on these little paragliders, start killing, maiming, shooting, destroying, raping. They come in on boats, start doing the same thing, killing, maiming, raping. They start doing all these wicked things, all these evil things. And then you have the nerve, the gall, to blame Israel for the Palestinians beheading Israeli babies. You blame Israel for the Palestinians raping women in the streets. You blame Israel for the Palestinians murdering the elderly, murdering civilians, murdering entire families, burning them alive in their homes. You blame Israel? Who's the bigot? You are, ma'am. You are. You are a vile, disgusting piece of trash human being. There is no hope for you except for hope in Jesus Christ. This is absolutely unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, how anybody can be this wicked, how anybody can be this evil, and then call the people that criticize her the bigots. Typical Democrat fashion. This article goes on to say she was repeatedly asked if Israel had the right to defend itself after 40 babies were murdered, some of whom were decapitated, and if she had any comment about the atrocities that were committed. She refused to answer a single question. And ladies and gentlemen, I did watch the video, and it is clear. As a matter of fact, let me pause this. I have this video playing. And although you can't see the video, and I don't think it'll really work too well if I try to play the audio for you. But there are subtitles, and I'm going to read these subtitles, okay? I'll read them as fast as I can so you can hear it. Congresswoman, Hamas terrorists have cut off babies and burned children alive. Do you support Israel's right to defend themselves against this brutality? She says nothing. She keeps walking. You can't comment about Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? She says nothing, keeps walking. She's just still walking. Congresswoman, do you have comment on Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? The question comes again. She keeps walking. You have nothing to say about Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? Nothing. She says nothing. Do you condone what Hamas has done, chopping off the heads, chopping off babies' heads, burning children alive, raping women in the streets? She got a sneer look at that one, but no words. You have no comment about children's heads being chopped off? Still nothing. Still nothing. They're waiting for an elevator. Congressman, why do you have... let me back that one up. Why do you have a Palestinian flag outside your office? So here's a woman that flies a Palestinian flag, a flag of the people that are cutting off Israeli babies' heads. And the final question as she boards the elevator, do you support Israel? Nothing. And this wicked woman, this evil woman, has the nerve to call everybody else bigots who saw that video, and now are condemning her for not condemning the beheading of Israeli babies. Oh, we're the bigots. We're the bigots. She had this look of disgust on her face that she was even being asked this. She flies a Palestinian flag outside her office, and she is a representative from Michigan, Democrat. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. I want to read just some of the comments. From this. Actually, the video took me to X, the tweet. And so I want to read some of the comments after the video that people posted. This is from MAGA93. You mean she's not running her nasty mouth like she usually does? The lady who was doing this interview, her name was Hillary. Todd Headley writes, good job, Hillary. You got her flustered. Steve Guest. Here's the time Rashida Tlaib said the Holocaust gave her a calming feeling. So yes, this is the type of people the Democrats vote into office. Somebody who, Democrat representative from Michigan, says that when she thinks of the Holocaust, it gives her a calming feeling. When I think of the Holocaust, it makes me angry and disgusted, turns my stomach, makes me want to vomit. When I think of what's going on in Israel right now, women being raped and murdered, children being murdered, little babies having their heads cut off by these Palestinians, these terrorists. It makes me angry. Sometimes I want to cry. Right now, as I'm just talking about this, doing this podcast, my stomach is turned. I feel like vomiting. Oh, Miss Tlaib, I bet right now you are feeling extremely calm, extremely at peace, because of the Holocaust that happened so long ago calms you. I can only imagine what's going on in your heart and soul, if you have one, right now. I bet you are like nirvana, peace, disgusting human being. Usama just says, ch. Usama says, wait, I what? Is she saying what I think she's saying? I'm not exactly sure what that means. Malenka writes, she should be in Gaza with her brethren right now. David Benjamin, you rock, Hillary. That's the person doing the interview. Jay Martin, Vaughn, great job. Her name is Hillary Vaughn, who did the interview. Ron Basilian, ask her if she has that warming feeling. I guess referring back to what she said about the Holocaust. Jackie's Animals, good job. I'm assuming she's talking because she has little hearts and flags about the job that Hillary Vaughn did. Fugitive Mama, well done. Suddenly she can't open her big mouth. Lucas Jacinkas, it's a complicated question. I hope he was being sarcastic. Anyways, let me go back to the original article. There might be some more that I want to touch on. Back to the original article from Daily Wire, and it's almost near the end. It says, top U.S. lawmakers condemned Tlaib for her refusal to condemn some of the most barbaric acts of violence recorded in modern history. Terrorist sympathizers like Rashida Tlaib are disgraceful, and her silence as innocent babies, men and women are being killed and attacked is shameful, said Representative Rick Scott, Republican from Florida. All DNRs, Democrats and Republicans, should condemn the horrific actions of Hamas loud and unequivocally. I agree. Representative Mike Lawler, Republican of New York, said, unfit to serve. It's beyond me how an elected representative in the U.S. cannot turn to a reporter and openly condemn those actions, said Representative Ryan Zink, Republican of Montana. They've fallen for everything, and now they stand for nothing. I stand with Israel, no doubt about it. Representative Mark Green, Republican of North Carolina, said, there is no excuse for refusing to condemn the atrocities of Hamas terrorists. Those condoning Hamas, whether publicly or behind closed doors, are a stain on the halls of Congress. Okay, so Congress, Democrats and Republicans, I'm going to call you out. Remove her. Remove her. Remove her. Vote to have her removed. And do it swiftly and do it quickly. This woman is human excrement. And again, the only hope for her is Christ. The only hope for Tim Hernandez there in Colorado, Democrat, is Christ. These people have crossed the line. They have no moral center. They're immoral, wicked people. And the only hope they have is in Christ. And granted, ladies and gentlemen, that's all of us. But at the same time, I see very few people, personally, none of my friends, none of the people I know, giving Palestine a pass in this. Every sane human being with even a half an ounce of decency condemns this and sides with Israel. This is inexcusable. It's unbelievable. And I just, again, Democrats, what are you thinking? You voted for this. You vote these people in office. Every time you vote Democrat, you put people like this into office. And you wonder, why is it that we have crime in our streets? Because people like Rashida Tlaib, Democrat, Michigan, they can't even condemn the most wicked and heinous of crimes when it's committed against people that they're not really fond of or about. So what makes you think that they're going to take care of the streets of America? What makes you think they're going to condemn crime in their own hometowns? They don't. They have armed guards and armed security, and they live in gated communities. Screw the rest of us. That's the Democrat mindset. These are wicked, evil people. Stop voting Democrat because you get what you vote for. Pure evil. I want to thank everybody that supports Israel. I want to thank everybody that supports the Jewish people and the Jewish state. My heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you. It's time for us to pray. It's time to seek the face of God on behalf of our brothers and sisters, our allies, our friends there in Israel. May God bless you all.